Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Welcome back to Mufti. Today we're going to do a tutorial, simple, easy, brief tutorial with regards to making matcha tea. Matcha tea, very popular, very famous type of tea. Obviously we know that matcha tea is in the green tea family, and we know that matcha tea hails from Japan predominantly. Not saying that no other countries make it or produce it, China, Korea, so on and so forth, but predominantly it's safe to say that it comes from Japan. Its manufacture, its distribution, so on and so forth. Okay, so it's in the green tea family, and our tea obviously is going to come from Camellia sinensis var, and other sub strands of it such as Asamica. Without getting too technical, but in general, as a beginner, it's safe to say that our tea comes from Camellia sinensis. And the differences between green, oolong, black, pu'er, white, yellow tea, so on and so forth, is going to be how the tea leaf is cultivated, how it's grown, where it's picked, how it's picked, when it's picked, and what is done to the leaf or the leaves after picking or plucking, pan firing, it being withered, rolled, baked, it being scented, it being aged, fermented, allowed to mold, etc. Those are the main differences between a black tea and a green tea. Black tea and a green tea, and inshallah ta'ala, we'll get more into that in another video. Right now in this video, we just want to talk about how to make matcha tea. But a few necessary things, such as matcha tea being green, obviously, what country comes from, obviously, and why a green tea is a green tea. So basically, to keep things simple and easy, matcha tea is crushed green tea made into a fine powder. Okay, and Japan is known for several types of green tea: Matcha, Sencha, Genma chai, so on and so forth. What's important is crushed green tea. The green tea obviously is already, made into the state, is processed, dried, so on and so forth. All right, and it's going to be crushed and made into a fine, thin powder. All right, that's matcha tea. And this is what it looks like. If you haven't seen it before, it's literally green powder. Literally green powder. Actually, pretty cool. Okay, so to keep things simple, these are the basic necessities of what you're going to need to make your matcha. You're going to have your bowl or bowls, a big cup, obviously a bowl and a cup, cousins and sisters, etc. Your chaiwan, and then you're going to need a strainer, of course, whether it's stainless steel, food grade, whatever. You're going to need your bamboo whisk, okay, your chasen, and then you're going to need a bamboo tea scooper, chashaku, if I pronounced it correctly. Obviously your tea, whatever you want to keep the tea in or store the tea in. Optional is a rag, towel, cleaning the bowl directly afterwards, before as well. A stand if you want to be really proper and posh for your towel or your rag. And some people have this little thing which they say or call a tea scoop stand, but in actuality is more like a tea pet. Now obviously there are things that are similar between the Chinese and the Japanese with regards to their tea culture and their tea ceremonies. Many traditional Chinese tea ceremonies, Chinese tea masters, they have these different figurines. I remember the first time that I saw one, I was studying in a class, and my teacher, she had one sitting there on a table, and I was curious. I'm like, what is that? And my eyes deceived me. It looks like a frog or a toad sitting there. So I asked her, and she said, it's just, my pet. I just like, the frog. It's my pet. I said, oh, okay. And then I noticed as she was doing the ceremony, she kept pouring water, tea liquor on top of the pet, as if she was giving the pet something to drink. And obviously what I know about Chinese culture, mythology, philosophy, so on and so forth, on a different association with different animals, different beings, okay, in and outside of the martial arts world, and the importance and the significance and the symbolic nature of different animals to the human world. I knew it was much more than just a pet that she liked. So obviously as Muslims, we don't deal with no type of superstition or no type of false or fake aqidah according to our aqidah, all right, let alone the ruling on having an image or some type of animated figurine or something like that. I'm just showing you, all right, not saying that this is Islamically acceptable or we condone it. All right, we're not getting into discussions about that right now. And of course, last but not least, you are going to need your water. You're going to need your water. Now, as we explained before, the 3 main sins that most people make with regards to loose leaf tea, and matcha is technically a type of loose leaf, even though it isn't a leaf anymore, it's powder. You're going to make sure that you have the proper amount of tea, the proper temperature of your water, and you're going to make sure that you have the proper steeping time. All right, so matcha tea is very, very easy. It's extremely popular, especially among the the hipster circles. People love matcha latte. You can get that anywhere. People love iced matcha lemonade. People have matcha cakes, matcha brownies, matcha desserts. Matcha is very, very, very popular, especially among, like I said, the hippie / hipsters, new wave, trendy, old versus new, east versus west type of people, in which they love tea, but they're not super, super duper, hardcore tea heads or tea pigs. All right, similar to boba tea. Is that a type of tea? Young people, hipster people, they love that kind of stuff, and it does have its place where it merges the worlds. Taking tea from being an old lady's drink in America, UK is totally different. Other countries are totally different, but in America, your old lady, your grandma on the porch drinks tea. That tea is not for young, cool, hip, fast-moving, fast-paced young, people. So those matcha drinks and those different types of lattes and boba teas, they have bridged that gap. You get the point I'm trying to make? And Allah surely knows best. All right, enough of that. So matcha tea is very popular. Quite frankly speaking, I would say it's delicious. I would say it's very good. It is very easy to make. But I would say that matcha tea probably isn't for every single person. The plain type of matcha tea. And that is because matcha tea by its nature is going to be very earthy. It's going to be green, like greens or collards, spinachy type of earthy green type of taste, because it's green. Okay? So you shouldn't add any type of sweetener to it. You shouldn't add any type of milk to it. So it's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. But if you are into that type of natural type of taste, it's going to be delicious. And it's very, very, very simple and easy to make. So these are the things that you're going to need. Once again, strainer, tea scoop, your towel, your actual tea, your bamboo whisk, along with a whisk holder if you want to be proper, and 1 to 2 good medium-sized matcha bowls. All right, this my little mortar pestle has nothing to do with the tea ceremony here, what I'm doing right now. All right, and of course your water. What temperature should your water be? Your water should be about 176 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what, roughly 80 degrees Celsius, roughly. All right, so before we get our water ready, I'm gonna take our scoop, and let's start off by 1 medium healthy size scoop that goes above the base or above the actual scoop itself, like this. And see how it's high up? And you have some scoopers which will allow you to have a different shape or maybe a better shape, and you get it'll be really vertical. The tea will be high up in the air, and it's much more than just inside that little tiny space. So let's start off with this. We're going to place our strainer on top of our bowl, and we're going to slowly, gently, carefully scoop it onto the sifter or the strainer, and we're going to sift the tea well and slowly without no water. Very important step to prevent clumping and lumping. Easy, simple and easy. As they say, easy does it. Now, some people prefer to put at least 2 scoops for one bowl this size. I'm going to start off with just 1 scoop. I don't like my tea bitter. I do not like my tea too strong, too astringent, you know, chalky type of taste. So start off with 1. You have to play around with it with your tea journal according to your taste, according to your palate. No water, nothing yet. We'll make sure I close our tea. We close our tea because air, humidity, water, sunlight, bright lights are enemies to tea. I cannot stress that enough. They're enemies to tea. And that's going to come in later classes and lessons on how to successfully store your fine tea. Okay. And I see the purpose of the little goose thingy, the duck thingy, is that you can put it back the proper way. Alright. Set that to the side. Let's get our water ready. Temperature 176 Fahrenheit, about 80 Celsius. And if you want to tone it down, if you want a smoother, more mellow taste, then you can make your water even cooler than that. We're going to put a ratio of 1/3 of the bowl or the cup with water. Bismillah. 1/3. A little more. A little more, a little less. 1/3, give or take. Next step, crucially important, in your whisk is you want to whisk the tea vigorously, and you want to allow the tea to become frothy. You want a good amount of froth or foam for your matcha. And some say is that you should do it in an M shape. In M shape. You don't necessarily have to do it in an M shape, but if you do, that's fine as well. See our color? Let's give it a nice little whisk. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Back, forth, forth, back. Back, forth, forth, back. Back, forth, forth, back. M shape, back, forth, back, forth. It don't have to be an M. It can be another letter, a V. What's important is consistent movement. It has to be strong, it has to be vigorous. You want to get that froth. And as I say, it's all in the wrist, right? That's without 2 minutes. It's not bad. See that? The more you do it for longer, up to 2 minutes, without losing too much heat, the frothier your tea will be. And the smoother your mix or your blend will be. And this is one of the reasons why you don't fill the bowl or the cup up to the top, because obviously it will make a mess. Mix up the flow. It's a nice workout too for the muscles in your arm. You'll feel the burn afterwards. Good amount of froth. And there you go. It's matcha tea. Next step. Of course, as Muslims, we say Bismillah. Get some good light on it. And that's what it is. Now, you guys can't see me sitting down. I'm going to sit down and drink. Bismillah, the sunnah is to sit down. And many scholars say it's obligatory. Bismillah. Oh man, that's delicious, wallahi. Allahu Akbar. This is good stuff, man. Good stuff. And look how green it is. It's like, you know, like a cartoon or something, like, you know, Ninja Turtles, the ooze, Secret of the Ooze, right? Remember that back in the day? Maybe a little too old for some of the watchers, some of the viewers. Allah, Allah, Allah. Delicious, delicious. Oh man, that is so good. You can have that before your meal, after your meal, and depending on the meal, maybe even with the meal. Now that was good. Allah knows I'm not exaggerating. So you want to make another one. The first cup, the first bowl was too bitter. It was too soft. There wasn't enough flavor. It didn't really like, punch me in the mouth. The flavor that I'm looking for. So what does that mean? That means you readjust, or you adjust. You go back 2 scoops. Maybe the water needs to be hotter. Maybe the water was too hot. Maybe you need to mix it, sift through it more. Do it again. That's why I had a second bowl. You may have to dump it out, re-sift it, switch your bowls, your cups, right? Your chawans. Okay, you may need to, spin it up more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Give it more of a vigorous spin. Okay, so a big part of making tea is experimentation. It's learning the form, but seeking the formless, and keeping a tea journal close by to write down the temperature, the tea, when you bought it, how you made it, how it tasted, what did it resemble, and most importantly, of course, what did your tongue tell you, your taste buds. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Alhamdulillah. If you have questions or concerns or comments, don't forget to like, to subscribe, share your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I look forward to reading all of them. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.